Okay, so some of you might experience some sinking in. When I say sinking in, that means some areas, especially the dark passages, it will lose the shine, it will lose the oil. That's because your canvas or your gesso absorb that oil. So you will have passages that will look dull. And it's very difficult to continue painting from that time on because you will lose the value. You won't be able to see the values. So what you can do is you can oil it out, okay? When you say oil it out, you can just use linseed oil, the same medium that you used earlier. So let's say this is linseed oil. Although I don't need to use it now because I didn't have any sinking in. I'll tell you why I don't have any sinking in. But if in case you do, you just get a bit of linseed oil and you brush that all over the areas that have sunk, okay? So if you have dull areas that have sunk, you can do this. So you're feeding the paint, you're feeding the pigment with what it needs. Some artists use a mix of Gamsol, half Gamsol, half Galkit, that's another thing. Some use thin varnish to do the oiling out, but I prefer to use linseed oil because it's really giving the paint what it needs. So that will take care of the sinking in. Now, if you want to avoid sinking in altogether, which I think is really the best way, this is a product that I use. This is what I was talking about earlier. It's Michael Harding Non-Absorbent Acrylic Primer. Now, why does this work? Because it makes your surface non-absorbent. So when it's non-absorbent, it prevents that sinking in of the oil. It prevents your surface from eating up all of that oil from your paint. And you notice here, I use that primer. I used 3 layers of gesso, and then I painted a layer of that non-absorbent acrylic on top of the gesso. So I absolutely don't have any sinking in. I don't have any more problems with that. But I used to have a lot of sinking in. Okay, so again, if you want to treat sinking in, just oil it out, just add linseed oil, but make sure it's very thin. Thin washes of linseed oil, only on the parts that need it. And then you can proceed to glazing.